As a result, we have changed Seismic Cry to no longer provide more damage to exerted attacks. Warcry empowered slams were incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Slams received a damage bonus from Seismic Cry that non-slam melee skills didn't have access to.
So wait. We didn't just nerf Seismic Cry, we just completely killed it. No more damage from Seismic Cry. Okay, So you only get AoE. If you had 5 awakened support gems, your 6 link damage could be as high as 50% more damage. As high as... I thought that's way higher than 50%. I thought it's like 200%. Well, not 200%, but like 100%.
Archmage has had its damage based on the mana cost of the supported skill lowered, 60% of mana cost from 108% at level 20.
That is massive. Oh boy, Flask rework. I don't really think that this loss of Lucky is actually that bad. In some cases it may even be better. You can get Lucky through other means, and then you're just gonna get a lot more crit chance.
The introduction of enkindling orbs in combination with unique utility flasks has opened up some interesting new interactions.
This is so dumb.
Coruscating Elixir is on the Ruby Flask base type.
This is dumb.
As mentioned above, had its base duration increased from 4 seconds to 5. When combined with the duration enkindling orb outcome, it now has a duration of over 15 seconds.
Okay, so this is extremely dumb in my opinion. The only time when using coruscating is when you don't have Chevron strapping and you have to rely on this flask all the time. But now, like with this example, gain no charges during flask effect. Are you gonna be running a map in like 30 seconds? So you would have to stop using this to regain charges. And if you stop using this and you have only like 1 life left, I don't know, this is just dumb.
The adrenaline modifier on flasks now gives far less movement speed, 6 to 8% increased movement speed, down from 20 to 30%, putting more of a focus on enhancing a Quicksilver flask's effect, with associated costs, rather than rolling a single modifier that granted almost as much speed as the Quicksilver flask itself.
Okay, I can understand that, but holy shit, that's gonna be massive speed loss. I kind of like this part, but also hate it. I don't know how I feel about this. The flash changes are the most concerning thing to me. It's gonna take a while to adjust, but... So normally I would put like freeze removal on Sulfur Flask or Diamond Flask or Granite Flask, but now I'm gonna have to carry Aquamarine Flask instead of one of those.
For example, the Raider now grants 50% chance to avoid elemental ailments while phasing instead of full elemental ailment immunity while phasing. This change means Raiders don't trivialize elemental ailments from the get-go, but can still get full mitigation with a little bit of investment elsewhere.
How does it mitigate freeze, I wonder? Like, you are half frozen? Like, one of your legs is gonna be frozen? You're gonna have to be more worried about your flash charges.
We want to provide new avenues for players to mitigate bleed, corrupted blood and curses, given how common bleed and curse removal flasks were. As a result, we have added extra support on the passive tree to mitigate bleeding, corrupted blood, and curses through new stats on existing notables or a new passive cluster. We've also made some minor changes to Pantheon powers. The upgraded Soul of Ralakesh now grants you cannot gain corrupted blood while there are at least 5 corrupted blood stats on you, and the upgraded Soul of Ugal now grants 20% reduced effect or curses on you, replacing their previous bonuses. Poison now inherently deals 50% more damage. We didn't like that poison builds felt...
Wait. Poison now inherently deals 50... Okay.
Poison now inherently deals 50% more damage.
Base damage.
Poison builds felt pigeonholed into playing assassin due to the extremely strong poison-related bonuses, and relied heavily on the Corralito's signature unique flask in the late game.
I like that. Actually, I like that, but does that mean poisons are gonna be super OP now?
We've reduced the power of the assassin's poison notable passives to be more in line with the kind of damage increases an ascendancy usually gives. Noxious Strike no longer has plus 30% to damage over time multiplier for poison, and the increased poison duration for each poison you have inflicted recently is now capped at 100%. Toxic Delivery now has poison you inflict with critical strikes deals 25% more damage, from 50%.
So they took Assassin that was fun and not very often used and just killed it. This is weird. Was it really needed to nerf Assassin? I mean, sure, some nerf, yeah, because of the poison damage, but I don't know, it feels like Assassin just lost all the interesting things for poisons. Why would you pick Assassin now for poison?
Corralito's signature has been reworked to more directly benefit poison builds dealing critical strikes, rather than any poison build.
Oh, it lost a special thing. Wait, you can still combine Corralito? Now you can combine Corralitos with the Perfect Agony. It's fine. Actually, this node is probably gonna be even stronger than before. Nearby enemies are poisoned. Well, the base poison damage is higher now. And it normally only spreads the one single strongest poison.
Poison builds were also guilty of having a particularly uninteresting array of support gems, with most purely providing an unconditional more damage multiplier. We have reworked the poison support gem to now be called the Critical Strike Affliction Support. This support gem provides damage over time multiplier to damaging ailments from critical strikes, so it can also be used with ignites and bleeds too. The lesser poison support has been renamed to Chance to Poison Support.
Okay, interesting.
As a much requested quality of life change, players can now see the effect of non-damaging elemental ailments on enemies and themselves, so you can finally determine how powerful your shocks are on enemies and what benefit they are giving you.
Damn, I love this change.
To ailments applied to you, and the buff granted to you by the cruelty support.
And also here, it shows how strong the shock is on you. I mean, what GG thinks the game looks like. One enemy, you can clearly see everything that's happening, what the game is actually. Now we're still not gonna know what one-shotter does. No, why? What does it? Why do you think you cannot open the box and then click the flask? You can still use Aquamarine flask. Aquamarine got changed, so Aquamarine is gonna grant you less freeze effect on you, so you can still use that and then open the box. You're not gonna be fully frozen, and with some investment you can still be almost completely unaffected by freeze. Now, talking about trigger skills, I think it actually makes a lot of sense. I was kind of surprised that it never had that mana cost, because it bypasses the cast time, so that's already a massive buff. Now all the Spellslinger builds, I assume it will affect Spellslingers. It's probably not gonna affect them too much. And now you can use, I believe, Archmage. Can you use Archmage now with trigger things? The trigger things are kind of interesting. At first I was like, holy shit, we just killed all the cast and crit and cast and damage taken, but actually it's kind of interesting. I think it opens up new build possibilities.
Smoke Mine has been most heavily affected. It now has a cooldown of 5 seconds, rather than 2.5, and has no cooldown recovery as it levels.
Well, Dash did get a pretty noticeable nerf. Flame Dash, I think it's gonna be fine.
The Second Wind support gem has been changed to have a much higher mana multiplier, and a penalty rather than a boost to cooldown recovery speed, so it's now a choice rather than a support gem you'd always use on a skill if you had a socket spare, and doesn't provide such a growth in uptime for the above skills.
Holy shit, it used to have 125% multiplier, now it's 200%. Okay, now we're using Second Wind. Oh, it's reduced. Okay, never using second wind again. Never.
Arcane Surge.
I don't like this. Hierophant that gets level 1 Arcane Surge is basically... it's gonna be pretty shit.
Fortify is intended to be a natural benefit of playing a melee character, not a primary defense to invest in, so you can't rely entirely on Fortify.
Yes, I never liked using Fortify.
Hence all sources of Fortify effect have been reviewed, almost all significantly nerfed or replaced with something that is okay to be stacked.
Okay, I will have more reasons to not get Fortify now. Hardcore players, well, the hardcore player's job is to die. I mean, isn't that the most fun thing to watch when a hardcore player dies? So how would Chris have fun then?
Sources of damage over time multiplier. This powerful damage bonus for damage over time skills has benefited disproportionately from cluster jewels, taking importance away from other sources. We've replaced all sources of the stat on non-notable cluster jewel passive skills with the standard damage increase to be consistent with other cluster jewels with damage bonuses, and lowered the values or replaced the stat entirely on cluster jewel notables. And have made some changes to make crafting less deterministic in the outcomes, as the unveiled modifiers can be very powerful additions to an item.
Wait. I had some words that made no sense. Changes to make crafting less deterministic. Doesn't that sound kind of ironical? They keep introducing new crafting systems to make it more deterministic, adding like div cards, and then nah, let's remove deterministic crafting. I mean, I'm fine. I love chaos spamming, so...
Ashling's crafting bench that adds a veiled modifier now first removes a random modifier, so it is riskier to use as a later step of item crafting rather than being an obvious final step because of its very consistent modifier pool. Veiled Chaos Orbs can no longer be used to get multiple veiled modifiers on an item. Previously this was possible taking advantage of meta-crafting modifiers, or fractured modifiers.
This is so sad. Sure, it was powerful, and it was kind of easy to farm it, but it was still like a gamble, and it was expensive. And now it's like, why would you risk that? You make your cool item with all the mods that you want. Why would you Ashling Slam then? Because it would remove one of the other mods that you work for to craft. This makes no sense. I don't get it. This isn't like this is an incursion. Like I'm beginning to be more and more worried.
We didn't like that veiled modifiers felt mandatory to get the highest amount of flat attributes of a specific type on an item.
Wait, this is what we should say.
We didn't like veiled modifiers.
So we just removed them.
Other changes. There are a host of other smaller changes, which you'll be able to read about in the patch notes. Focus's cooldown no longer expires while it's active, as players were able to keep focus effects up almost permanently, which provided a huge amount of powerful benefits. You can invest in keeping it up more, but you won't be able to keep it up constantly. This is especially important as it's now one of the few sources of your critical strike chances lucky from a specific focus modifier.
It's like we saw my videos about the focus helmet and permanent self-freeze, self-chill, self-shock, and then the 100% mind over matter idea and said nope, you can't do that. Like it wasn't really... It wasn't game break, it wasn't OP, it was just for fun. I think this is justifiable. Golems were just OP. You just go Elementalist and you can play any build. You just stack a bunch of Golems, you get a bunch of damage, you get a bunch of mitigation, you get a bunch of regen. It just made no sense. Now it's gonna have like a hard cap and you're not gonna need as many Golems, I guess. I think it's fine, and it's still gonna be strong, but it's not gonna be just completely broken strong. So people have been talking out about Face Breakers, the Rana's Fist, with the new flask throwing skill, and that is not gonna work. We're gonna clarify on these items and these things that it's not gonna work with it's only gonna work with melee skills. For me, that's fine.
As usual, we've buffed Firestorm. It now deals 20% more damage at gem level 20, and its first impact now deals 325% more damage, up from 250% more damage.
Oh shit.
Explosive Arrow now deals 5% more damage with hits and ailments per explosive arrow on the target, up from 3%.
What? Why are we buffing Explosive Arrow? That's weird. That's unexpected. Gem level 40. Am I missing something? Whoever had gem level 40 Spark?
Lightning Tendril's strong pulses now deal 100% more damage with hits and ailments, up from 50%.
Even if we added 1000% more damage with ailments for Lightning Tendrils, I would not use it. I can't believe we actually buffed Val Flame Blast. It was like one of the strongest Val skills for single target. That actually didn't take that much time to read. Yeah, you know what, that's kind of true. All we mentioned right now is nerfs, changes, and nothing about rewards. So it feels like the game is still gonna be, you're still gonna be getting a bunch of trash items, but now it's gonna take longer to get those trash items. I mean, I wouldn't say it was underperforming skill. Stubby's already dead. This is fine. This is not. No, I disagree with this. Golems were just OP. No. But it's funny meme.
Long timer here. Manifesto looks devastating for those like me who work full time. You always seem to have a more positive view. I could do with hearing it about now.
Thanks, Master Plan, for the 28 months. Here's my positive view. Lamau felt casuals. You don't matter.
I was expecting that. Yeah, I'm a bit worried, but the game is gonna be annoying, not slower. It's gonna be slower, but also annoying. No way fun. I don't know, Reddit seems kind of calm. Nice. Can we get a sale on the sentence at all? The fact don't care about the game, just want to look fancy for cheaper. That's not really true. Assassin was not the best for poisons. Pathfinders were picked probably more often than assassins for poison. But yeah, I do agree that assassin poison nerf is just removing fun. This can be very easily answered because it's fun to watch hardcore players die. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this league goes. I already had so many people saying that we're gonna skip the league or just not install the game still. Well, we said that like this is like a ripping bandage, right? Not slowly pulling it off, but just ripping the bandage. And the healing, I guess, the healing process is gonna take a couple more leagues, not just this league. This is just the beginning of healing. Well, yeah, think about it. Why is that such a weird concept? Reserve your mana, but you also have to spend mana. That applies to every single build that uses mana. Like attack builds, slam builds, they reserve mana with auras and then still use mana to attack. Why is that such a weird concept? Okay, so who knows the game called Maple Story? And who knows the story about Maple Story? Story about Maple Story. How the game was many years ago and how it is now. It is completely different, and it lost a lot of player base. Now the game is super fast, super flashy, and you just blast through levels like nothing. And it's not as fun as it used to be in certain ways. So I feel like Path of Exile is in the same spot. Path of Exile is like currently is like what Maple Story is, or almost is, and it wants to be what it used to be. It wants to bring back older players that enjoyed harder PoE, and it's gonna lose some players, yes. You may be one of those players that you're gonna leave PoE. But it's also gonna bring some players back, or bring some players that prefer a harder gameplay. That's the thing. The game is not trying. The game is not trying to be your friend, I guess. Then you're gonna have to accept that the game may not be for you anymore. But it is gonna be for someone else, so it's really tough to balance the game to appeal for most people.
I'm all for slower, but slower gameplay, not slow, tedious, RNG progression.
I am concerned. It's not just slowing the game down, it's also removing some fun and just making it more annoying. Also, one big thing, at least we did not mention any better rewards. The game is gonna be more annoying, and it's gonna take more time to get the same trash items, and we're gonna lose the more deterministic crafting. So I'm sure I will still be able to reach endgame and just defeat like Sirius and stuff like that, but